At the start of 2010, LEGO Power Miners fans were treated to 4 new sets on shelves: the Fire Blaster, Magma Mech, Clawcatcher, and Lavatraz. These 4 builds made up the third and final wave of LEGO Power Miners, an unlicensed, non-evergreen theme that had made its debut on store shelves only 1 year prior. Between replacing rock monsters with lava monsters, ditching the iconic blue and gray uniforms for silver suits, as well as an updated color combination for the vehicles, this last hurrah for Power Miners brought something new to the theme. But in my humble opinion, it destroyed any chance the theme had of sticking around for a 4th wave. Sure, you could argue that LEGO put these sets out knowing this property was on the way out, and you're probably right. But as a fan, I would have loved to see LEGO give it their all for this 3rd wave. If that was the case, perhaps these builds could have re-engaged fans, allowing Power Miners to stick around. Or, at the very least, a better wave would have allowed the theme to end on a high note, thus cementing its legacy as a truly iconic, unlicensed, non-evergreen theme. Unfortunately, it's safe to say that these 4 builds do not live up to the sets that preceded them, and for this next episode of Digging Deeper, I want to discuss the downfall of LEGO Power Miners. As we talked about in the last episode of Digging Deeper, when striking down the Crystal King, the Titanium Command Rig ended up smashing through the cave floor, which introduced the miners to the lava monsters down below. Similar to the rock monsters, the lava monsters were also powered by energy crystals, and the comic reveals that they too were responsible for causing the earthquakes. By this time, the Power Miners had a new base, Lavatraz. However, it was not long before Eruptor, the most powerful monster in the theme, attacked the base, requiring the miners to use water cannons and a crane to capture the big bad villain. For better or worse, that's where the story ends, as only 2 pages of the Power Miners comic were dedicated entirely to these final 4 sets. Sure, a proper wrap-up of the story is nice, but a few more pages showing all the vehicles in action would have been beneficial. I would have loved to see or learn what makes the lava monsters different from normal rock monsters. It doesn't help that Eruptor, the big bad villain, was seemingly an easier fight than the Crystal King. This right here is one instance of LEGO not giving Power Miners the send-off it deserved. Yes, the story's all wrapped up, but just a couple more pages would have provided a much better fan experience. Before I properly introduce the figures, I want to make it clear that I think the figures are one of the few things LEGO did right with this last wave. With these sets, there were 3 variants of monsters introduced. First, fans received Firaxes, which are said to be superheated Fyroxes. These little guys are quite mischievous. Next up was the Infernoxes, who are crazy and are always bouncing around, full of energy. The third variants were the Combustixes, who are both gooey and messy. Last, but certainly not least, the Power Miners had to take on Eruptor, a big fig rock monster with lava pouring out of him. The lava monsters truly have their own look that separates them from the rock monsters, but at the same time, they don't completely break from the overall rock monster design, which I love. Making our way to the miners, this wave saw the return of Brains, Doc, Duke, Rex, and the Engineer. Unlike the 2009 sets, the 2010 wave saw all of the miners share the same outfit design, a silver suit that had plenty of padding and included Duke's drill logo. While it's understandable that some are frustrated by this uniform look, I for one don't mind it. The suits look clean and futuristic and are pretty swagger, for lack of a better term. Unfortunately, the excitement I have for these figures does in no way extend to these sets, as I think we can all agree that these builds do not hold up to the vehicles and playsets released just 1 year earlier. For starters, I hate the color combination of these sets. Lime green makes its return, but This time it's paired with blue, as opposed to orange. I loved the original look of the Power Miners. Lime green, of course, as the main color, with hints of orange that were usually present with the various drills/machinery on the vehicle, along with a little blue, which came from the Power Miner figure. These three colors came together for a look that, while unique, worked. But for these sets, the even amount of lime green and blue present just creates an odd look. All of the sets look goofy, almost childish. Yes, this is a theme made for kids, and trust me, I understand that. But the 2009 sets really did have a color combo that worked. These just look kinda dumb. Once you add in the fact that the simple silver suits worn by the miners do not fit in at all, it makes these sets appear even worse. The silver suits the miners wear have a very stoic look, and I think the sets would have looked better if they too opted for a straight silver color wave. Completely ditching the blue suits while trying to hold on to the old aesthetic for the vehicles left this theme in a really weird place. I would have much rather had them revolutionize the theme entirely. Or, if they were not interested in doing that, I would have been fine with them keeping the same design aesthetic for the figs and sets. Either option is better than what we received. Moving past the colors, the sets themselves don't excite me either. Looking back on the 2009 sets, it felt like every vehicle had a purpose. It was there for a reason. With these 2010 sets, it kind of feels like LEGO was just throwing ideas at the wall, and whatever stuck is what they went with. As I reflect, I think the biggest issue with this last wave is that LEGO was pretty clearly lost. The inclusion of lava monsters kinda adds an odd twist to the story. Are these still miners that are trying to collect crystals? Or are they instead firefighters? After all, the Fire Blaster is essentially a little fire truck buggy, while the Magma Mech has an awkward looking claw arm and a spinning water jet. Meanwhile, Clawcatcher is once again a machine used to capture monsters and take their crystals, whereas Lavatraz is a base. These four sets don't really seem unified like the previous two waves, which were centered around drilling and collecting rock crystals. There's too much going on here, which is kinda ironic, considering there's only 4 sets in this entire wave. While a Power Miners theme that lasted longer than 3 waves may have been nice, the third and final wave of this theme makes it clear to me that, in some ways, this theme was ready to go. The 2009 sets with their lime green, blue and orange color combination and fantastic vehicle lineup will go down in history without a doubt. But the way this theme was wrapped up in 2010 is quite a shame. If LEGO had instead released sets that truly complemented the figures, and fit into the overall story/goal of this theme, the third wave could have been a perfect ending to this fantastic theme. In some ways, maybe it would have been better if we only received waves 1 and 2, while at the same time, this third wave only increases my admiration for what fans received in 2009. Am I being too harsh? Or do you agree that this was a disappointing ending for one of LEGO's best original themes?